We're going to start with Crystal Palace, and talkSPORT understands that Crystal Palace are set to sack the manager, Roy Hodgson. The former Eintracht Frankfurt gaffer, Oliver Glasner, has verbally agreed to become Palace's new boss. So we'll take calls on this, 03717223344. Firstly, listen, we understand that Roy Hodgson's not very well, although you just heard there in the sport with Ben Fletter that he's up walking about, so it looks like he's on the mend. So we wish Roy Hodgson all the best and a very quick and speedy recovery. But let's talk about Crystal Palace, 15th at the moment in the Premier League.
You got beat by them at Old Trafford.
It doesn't matter. I think it was 3-0, wasn't it?
1-0.
Was it 1-0?
Yeah.
Bournemouth beat us 3-0.
Yeah. Bournemouth, another team.
Yeah, a lot of clubs. 6 games they've won all season out of 24. They've lost 12. When they have a run of form like that and you're, I wouldn't say fighting for survival, but you don't, I mean, there's a long way to go. 14 games with Palace. They could easily be sucked into this relegation battle. I can't see it personally because I think it's Burnley and Sheffield United are down. It's just Everton, Luton, Forest, etc. But you never know the way football moves on. But is it the right decision now after the wrong decision last season?
Well, again, when they decided to part ways with Patrick Vieira, it was an awful run of games he had, fixtures, like teams in the top 8, it was difficult. And then when Roy got the job, he picked up results and everyone was like, wow, he saved the day. But you look at some of the games that he played, I think Leeds was one that jumps off the page where Leeds were struggling, and I think Palace beat them 4 or 5. And I think, would Vieira have got them results? He probably could have done, but he was never given the opportunity. But I thought at the start of this season, they would have gone, right, Roy, thanks for coming. You've done what you needed to do. Let's try and kick on again. The fact that they reappointed him, and I get it from Steve Parish's point of view, because he's probably thinking, I don't want to drop out the Premier League, and you're in a safe pair of hands. But at some point, Crystal Palace has to kick on. I mean, you look at teams, and I know you're probably going to say, yeah, but where do they kick on to? But at the minute, you've got teams like Bournemouth, Brentford, Fulham, Wolves are a big club, Brighton. Like these teams are above Crystal Palace. Like at some point, Crystal Palace are going to have to push the boat out and go,
are they though?
They have to.
I just think, right.
If you're a Palace fan,
yeah, no, it's totally different if you're a Palace fan to the owners.
Are you really happy with just surviving?
No, of course not. Of course not. But if you're the owner, if you're the owner, if you're Parish or whoever, right?
Yeah.
At a club like Palace or Palace,
yeah,
and you've got the option of spending as little as possible to stay in the Premier League, or spend another 150 million and stay in the Premier League, you're going to spend as little as possible. They're never going to get. They're never going to get top 6, right?
Okay, but they might get top 8. There was a time.
I don't think they can.
I'm pretty sure there was a time where Brighton fans would have gone, we're not going to get top 8.
You're right, but I think football's changed. Financial fair play just ruins all the littler clubs.
Brighton have found a way.
Yeah, because they buy and then sell at ridiculous profit.
But if you look at Palace over the years, they've had players that like we've waxed lyrical about. They've had Zaha for a best part of it. Well, over a decade. Zaha, you've got Elise, you've got Eze, they've got Gay, who's a good player. They've got Anderson.
They've got abundance of talent.
So at some point, they've had Benteke who could score goals in the Premier League.
I know, but if you look at the 8 now, right? So I'm not putting Chelsea into the 8. You've got West Ham, Newcastle, Man United, Villa, Spurs, Arsenal, Man City, Liverpool. Yeah. What's the point of spending £200 million? I'm playing devil's advocate here, right? Because I feel for the fans. But what's from the owner's perspective? What's the point of paying £200 million? You're never going to get into that group.
You don't know that until you have a go. Like, at some point,
realistic. I've not even mentioned Brighton or Chelsea.
At some point, if you keep trying to skimp or scrimp and not buying players, it will get you anyway. Eventually, they'll go down. Look what they are. They're 15th.
That's the dilemma. Is how much do Palace spend to make sure they don't go down?
Exactly. And there's no way on the planet with the players that they've had that you can't tell me at some point Crystal Palace couldn't have finished top 10 and then kicked on again.
The thing. You're right. The fans always miss out here, right?
Always miss out.
The problem you've got is at the beginning of the season before a ball is kicked, Crystal Palace fans know exactly what this season's about.
Yeah.
There will be no different this season, next season, season after.
Okay, for instance, I'll give you an example. They finished 11th last year. Brentford finished 9th. Why can't Palace do that?
Look where Brentford are now.
Yeah, but at one point they had a go and they finished 9th.
Yeah, but they probably spent a lot more money.
You go a couple of seasons ago, Leicester finished 8th, Brighton were 9th.
Look at Chelsea, how much they've spent. They're 10th.
Yeah, but Chelsea are a basket case of a club.
I know, but look how much they've spent.
Yeah, but they've had success and they have been really successful. Palace have never had that. Never.
03717223344 Palace fans, we're talking about your club. Can you understand why there is no need to spend, not need, but why they won't spend that money just so they can keep their head above the water?
I think Palace fans at some point are going to go, we need to kick on or see something.
It must be. Do you know what? Crystal Palace, it must be the most boring club to support. talkSPORT's chief football correspondent Alex Cook joined the breakfast show this morning. He said that Crystal Palace chairman Steve Parish should take some blame for the Eagles' poor season.
And I think if you speak to Palace fans, as much as they're not happy with the style of play under Roy Hodgson, I think they realise actually that Steve Parish has got a lot to answer for here, because he ducked the big decision in the summer. He took the easy option by giving Roy Hodgson an extra year's contract. It meant he didn't really have to spend a lot of money in the transfer market, because obviously there'd be a new manager coming in at the end of the season. The Palace fans very unhappy with the way that the football club is being run. And I think this season, Steve Parish banked on the 3 promoted teams being so poor that actually Palace wouldn't have to do a lot to stay up.
They have to do a lot of Crystal Palace, not just on the field, but you and I have been to that stadium. We went there last season.
It's got a nice feel to it, though.
Oh, it's not. It's so dated.
I mean, again, I was born in that area. Like, I've seen it from way back.
But make it appealing to.
But one thing it's got in its favour, and people might go disagree with it, and that's up to them, but it's in London. And
so it should be.
I know a lot of players that have come over, and because their families are going to a foreign country, they want to be in the capital, and people almost forget that Palace are in London.
I know. But it needs to be more than just in London.
They need to sort the team out. Start put your money in your pocket, man.
Put your money. Do you mean put your money where your mouth is?
Put your money in your ear. Get it out of the pocket. Yeah.
Yeah. So ironically, don't put it in the pocket.
Yeah.
Okay. Tom's up there. Hello, Tom.
Hello, chaps. How's it doing?
We're great. How are you, Thomas?
Hello, mate, you right?
I'm good, sir. I'm good. All good. Nearly Friday. Can't complain.
It is nearly
Tom,
Friday.
let me ask you a question quickly off the bat. Is it tough being a Palace fan?
It's not the easiest, mate. Yeah, it's a bit up and down, probably more down than up, to be fair.
Do you know at the beginning of the season that nothing will happen?
Yeah, of course, yeah, exactly that. It's that optimism, isn't it, that will soon fade away. I'm quite used to it now.
So, Tom, as a Palace fan, what do you live for?
I think, Fenty hit the nail on the head for me at the start of the show. I think, and I've been on Sports Bar quite a bit, and I feel like a bit of a broken record, but for me, it's a bit of ambition, right? That's all the fans want to see. I'm realistic as a Palace supporter. I don't necessarily think we're going to be, playing European football anytime soon. That doesn't come overnight. Even if you do invest money, it's not all about investment. But I think the trouble is, if you look at the spending, we've been in the Premier League as a club for a decade. And some of the clubs, Brighton's and Brentford's are examples, West Ham, they're a bigger club than us, but they've been in the Championship more recently than we have as well. So you've got to look at it and think we're not. It's not like it's our second season in the league and we're trying to fight to stay up. And it does have that sort of, you stand still, you get left behind type vibe to it at Palace, where I just think one of these days we're gonna. It's going to come back to bite us.
Tom, let me ask you a question, right? Because we've spoke to Leeds fans about going up into the Premier League and being not the size of the club, but as the club were when they came up, a small fish in a big pond. But when they're in the Championship and smashing it, they're a massive fish, right? As a Palace fan, would you be happy going down if it meant that season in the Championship you smashed it and won the league?
It's a good question. It's a big if, isn't it? I mean, you ask me at the end of next season when we've smashed it and we've won the league, of course I'm going to turn around and say yes, but I think there's a big risk involved.
No. If I'm guaranteeing it for you, right? So this season, I can take you out of where you are now and put you in the Championship. You're top. You're basically Leicester. Would you swap where you are for Leicester's season?
No. No,
I agree with that. I wouldn't either.
No.
Crystal Palace, where they are, they've been in the Premier League for a long time, and I know it's
no, but just for one season.
No, I wouldn't, because Palace at the minute.
I'm going to put you back in the Premier League next season.
Okay, I mean,
I would.
Yeah, but there's nothing that's that concrete, so you can't offer that.
No, but if I'm giving you a scenario, I'm allowed to do what I want with it.
Yeah, but it's just not realistic, is it?
No, but my point is, do you as a Palace fan want mediocrity at best? Yeah. For the rest of time.
No, if you're a Palace fan, you want your owners to go, listen.
I know, but would you rather have a season in the Championship, flying high like Leicester, smashing them by the pieces?
I'm not going down. Forget it. Because there's no guarantee. I know you're saying you'll definitely put us back.
No, I'm not putting you down.
I'm
swapping you for Leicester.
No,
Leicester are coming up, right?
Yeah.
So Leicester will be playing Premier League football next season. I'm swapping your season for Leicester.
No, I'm not coming out the Premier League.
Oh, I would.
No.
If I was Palace,
no, I'm not doing it.
Every week you're winning, you win the Championship.
Yeah, no. Crystal Palace have been in the Premier League for a long time. At some point, they have to show a bit more ambition. But I'm not risking it going down to enjoy a few wins at the New York Stadium and them teams like that. No.
Just to show of hands in the crash, would any of you? I'm not sending you down. I'm swapping. If you're a Palace fan, would you swap places with Leicester for the rest of the season to go back into the Premier League next season so you win the Championship?
No.
Producer show's unsure. He won't be coming up, isn't it?
I bet every team in the Championship would swap places with Palace right now.
Talk talkSPORT Drive with Andy Goldstein. Monday to Friday afternoon from 4 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.